Hi, everyone. Welcome to your favorite podcast. I'm Dr. Nicholas
What's up,
Manning.
everyone?
You can find me on Twitter at dr_n Manning. I am here with my co-pilot, my brother-in-law who just jumped out, who will be back, JT Matthews. It's a hard W. And then my main man, Chris, who has been admirably filling in for JT. Now he's part of the show. Tell you a little bit more about him when we get back. Maybe JT will be here. Maybe he won't.
Yo, welcome to the show. Let me set the scene. Mile High Sports Symposium, living the dream. Broncos in the house with that orange and blue. Nuggets making moves, watch that altitude crew. Avalanche bringing ice. Yo, welcome to the show. Let me set the scene. Mile High Sports Symposium, living the dream. Broncos in the house with that orange and blue. Nuggets making moves, watch that altitude crew. Avalanche bringing ice, check the skills they display. Rocky swinging bats, ready for game day. Rapids in the mix, kicking it with style. Buffs bring the heat, put the rivals on trial. Out talking JJT, they got the scoop. Mile High vibes, feel that energy rise. Sports on the menu, watch the crowd mesmerize. From football to hockey, we're taking it higher. Join the celebration, feel that sports desire.
All right, take 3. Welcome back again to your favorite podcast. So I'm with our newest member. Can't have a tripod without the third leg. Chris Whitwright. You can find him on the Twitter sphere at MHSS_Whit. Hard H. Welcome, my man. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm excited to be here. Filled in for the last 3 weeks and made it officially official. So I'm couldn't be more excited.
Yeah. I decided to put a ring on it. Maybe we've said it, maybe we haven't. I've known Chris since the early 2000s. Just a long time ago.
So many wasted hours playing Madden and college football in your room. Just so many wasted hours.
So many wasted hours. And and yep. Those were, character building, I'd say. Those are character building times. But appreciate you. Glad you are back. JT is back. When he will be back on screen, who knows? But until then, we know that you're all busy. You all have stuff to do. So let's get cracking, as the kids say. So first things first, the best team in the city, you go by winning percentage, the Colorado Avalanche. Since we last chatted, they did some stuff. So they had not yet gotten Nazem Kadri, who I was really excited that they might get, and didn't think it was going to happen. Carrying a $7 million cap hit. Again, in hockey, it's a little different. But Chris McFarland, my man's got. Never mind that joke. It was going to be good, but probably not. Probably not. But now the Kadri back on top of the other additions, and so tough loss last night. Tough loss last night against the Edmonton Oilers. Rough first period. Second period, better play. Saw Nathan McKinnon get thrown out and subsequently lose to the second best player from Canada, McDavid. Outside of the frustration that is the loss yesterday, we talked about, this team really is head and shoulders above, especially roster wise in the Western Conference. The question I posed to you was is it like Stanley Cup win or bust? So with that, I think what's the, does Kadri's impact? Maybe just outline maybe what the Kadri's impact, and then, is it Stanley Cup or bust? Like, would you be happy with any other outcome than we're in Denver for a parade in June?
No, I think this is, and you called it last week. You said you wanted Nazem Kadri, and he came onto the squad. So yeah, the ceiling is, and the expectation is now we're a Stanley Cup team. We are the Stanley Cup favorite, and the front office has put us into that kind of tier. So I expect us to win. I expect us to win the Stanley Cup. That is the expectation. That's what we need to do. I'm a little concerned about the goalie situation because there were a couple games last week they were pulling Blackwood for Wedgwood and that kind of thing. So that's a little instability has been a little bit of a hiccup. But again, I think Kadri makes his team's floor a Stanley Cup contender.
Yeah. It's interesting because now the Avalanche went from probably out of the contending teams maybe 2 years ago having kind of the worst center lineup, or because you go against Edmonton, you got McDavid, you got Draisaitl, you got you got dudes to Kadri is your third,
yeah,
and then Roy is your fourth. And you still got Jack Drury, who you can move, who was playing pretty good hockey, especially considering. And so,
I think it'll be interesting if they move maybe McKinnon to more of a winger role, since he's got a little bit more movement skills than Kadri does, and maybe they play them together a little bit more when the playoffs roll around. That'll be interesting to see how that kind of plays out. Yeah. But I'm excited for sure. I'm also excited about the two defensemen we added. The physical presence that they bring is a welcome relief to the way they were playing a little earlier. So again, having that little bit of grit on the back line is never a bad thing.
No, and oftentimes a good thing. However, you brought up a good point. One, Jay, I don't know that they know. Apparently, when you shove a player into the crease, it's still a penalty on you, which is fine. Call it a penalty. You don't throw a guy out. It's bush league, as the kids say. But what is also not great is when you give up a crap ton of goals on very little shots. Mackenzie Blackwood has really struggled, and so again, it's one of those where how many times have we said that in Colorado, where if their goalie were a little bit better.
Yeah.
I really thought this was the year. I felt pretty confident that we were going to be able to have kind of a top 10 goalie, and we have. It's just not the goalie that you thought when the season started. Do you think Blackwood's going to turn around?
I don't know. I think he seems to be just really a streaky player. So the answer could be yes, or this could be just a prolonged streak where he just doesn't play very well. The good news is you have Wedgwood as a backup, and at least you have a competent backup that can kind of carry you through these stretches. So,
now, if I were the coach, if you were Bednar, right, playoffs start tomorrow. Who's your goalie in the pipe?
it's Wedgwood. I mean, I don't
Right.
think that's.
Yep. And I don't even know, like, if you're Blackwood, could you be mad about it?
No. Well, I mean, yes, because
I mean, could you be mad about it? But I think the locker room, right? Like,
yeah,
if you're McKinnon and you see Blackwood in the pipes, would you be
yeah.
like, I'd be mad. I'm trying to win a cup.
Well, I mean, again, you always want to support your teammates, but again, like, again, I think Wedgwood has been the better goalie this year, and I don't think they'd be mad if Wedgwood is the choice. So
Yeah, I mean, I think that they would be mad if Blackwood was the choice, because I think that the players would know, like, you're starting him because of how much money he makes, right? That he's the starter. You're not starting him because he's been better. Wedgwood has been phenomenal all season.
Yep.
He's been top 5 or top 10 in every statistical category, since Blackwood was hurt to start the year. And and I don't know Mackenzie Blackwood's, like, I don't believe that he is a player that would put himself above the team. At least from what I've heard out in the public, they're actually really supportive of each other. And even when he came back, he said things like, I know that I'm going to have to earn time. Wedgie's playing great. I'm just here to help out my team. The good part is his contract's guaranteed. So it's not like he's not going to make his money if he isn't a starting goalie. There's pride in all those things, but winning a cup is most important. And I think having guys like Nathan McKinnon, Gabe Landeskog, Kadri, go to bat for Wedgie if he were to start. That to me, I think is a little bit different. Like, this team can't afford your feelings with where it's at and really pushing to be able to win. Is Kadri the final piece, or did they miss something?
No, I think they put themselves in the best position to be in the Stanley Cup. I mean, they basically traded out of next year's draft. They traded their first, their second, and their third round picks. So they're basically just done with draft picks. So yeah, this is them pushing all the chips to the center and saying, this is the team. We believe this team is Stanley Cup worthy. So yeah. So I don't think anything was.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think that's it. I think that this is the time for them to feel challenged and come out the other side. Yep. And I think that this group has what it takes. It's got to form for a little bit. So I think we both agree.
Yeah,
the Avs are going to win the cup. This is just for funsies. You just need a little bit of drama, and for a team this good, like, this is the level of problem that they got is oh no, like, our backup goalie's playing really well, and
he's playing better than our starting goalie. Whatever were we going to do?
Goalie. And better than 80% of the league. So it's we wanted a top 10 goalie. We just didn't know that he was on our bench. So here we are. Roll the hotness.
And there's nothing to say that Blackwood can't get back to it. So
right. Still a lot. I mean, still got another month plus the season, right? Got some time. So that said, small problem, small potatoes, or something. Now we're going to move on to Denver Nuggets. Denver Nuggets are a professional basketball team in paycheck only. Just kidding. They're way better.
That's not true.
That's not true. Moral victory, so just to catch everyone up, another hard-fought game against the Oklahoma City Thunder, who I think are quickly becoming all of our least favorite team. Like, quick and pretty significantly. And so another tight loss. So 126, 129. Can't get defensive stops. And if we do, we miss a basket. If we hit the basket, we can't get a stop. I have real concern over this aspect, because I think Denver is still a team to beat in the NBA if healthy. I think you've seen the difference of Aaron Gordon being back for the most part. Still not Peyton Watson back, so I think being able to identify that. It doesn't feel like the team has gelled yet, so you hope that there's something left there. But late game execution, I mean, that's how playoffs are won. And we can't do it.
Yep.
We looked at the numbers last week. I think that they were second in betting to win the championship. Haven't looked today.
Yeah, I don't know.
But are they going to be able to get it right?
So Peyton Watson is still not back. He's not going to be back tonight for the Rockets game. So that's still a hole that needs to be filled. It's nice to have Aaron Gordon back, but when you play at the level that we expect the Nuggets to play at, I don't believe in moral victories. Like, we played really hard against the Thunder and we only lost by a little bit. Well, when you're vying for, conference finals and championships, that doesn't matter. Like, to me, if you're trying to build something, that matters a little bit more. But I don't take any solace in the fact that they lost to the Thunder closely. But again, it's the same old. Like, they either turn the ball over way too many times, or they just cannot get a stop for the life of them. And it really sucks that, Jokic is playing out of his mind. He's, averaging a triple-double, I think, since the All-Star break. And we just cannot support him in any way. And I just don't.
Yep.
A friend of ours brought up, is this a David – and I think we talked about it, a couple weeks ago. Is this a David Adelman issue? And I'm not ready to push the panic button and say, yep, it's absolutely a coaching issue, but they're not making it easy to defend that anymore. So it's, I'm reserving judgment until after the season we see how it all plays out, because we're still missing Peyton Watson. Mm-hmm. But, this has to get fixed, in the offseason. Like, this cannot be an acceptable outcome.
Can't be the thing. So let's ask, as evidenced by his hat, my Nuggets expert,
I'm back. I don't know.
Geraldo Timothy Tremblay the third. What's the problem? Why can our team with the smartest basketball player on the planet not score baskets when it matters? His look says it all. He hates me. That's fair. Okay. It's the things. There's significant concern. I think David Adelman. I mean, it's what you got. They went the path of least resistance. I knew that I wanted a big boy coach here, or big girl coach. Give me Becky Hammond. Give me someone with some understanding and some clout, someone that's been in the things. And just because I would have felt better with knowing what to expect, I also think when you make that hire, you owe it to him to let him figure it out. And so he's still a younger coach in general. And then being a first-time coach, I think I hope that they didn't make that move because of what they think he can do this year. They made that move of what they think he can do over time, Yep. It is rough, though, to watch this team struggle the way that they are. Still some, good chunk of season left, but it's been a couple months. It hasn't been a couple weeks or days or games. It's been pretty significant. And so I worry about it. I wonder how Peyton Watson is going to return. It's soft tissue injury.
It's always tricky.
Those things, they're tricky. And for a guy who really hasn't had like a consistent career of being this guy, he wasn't in college.
Mm-hmm.
His 1 year. He wasn't in college, but he hasn't been in the pros yet. And so to assume that he's going to come back pre-injury to being the guy too, you hope that's the case. It'd be great.
And just remember that he was the guy when Gordon was out, and now Gordon is back. So how does that dynamic play out?
And Brown was out, and so it was, and half the time Jokic was out.
Yep,
there was a lot of shots to be had, and Valanciunas was out. Like there was a lot of guys missing, and so now it'd be interesting to see. It'd be interesting to see how they incorporate him back into into the fold.
Yeah, just one little thing about the coaching. So we all agree that the process was atrocious. Like you didn't really perform a search, and the search you did perform is landed on the guy already in the building. So that's problematic. The other problem is that for a young coach to try and figure it out, it sounds good to give him a long rope to try and go through the bumps. The problem is that Jokic is 31. So you're now again kind of wasting his window, which is not what we want. It is not what we want. So, and again, it's not to say that Adelman can't figure it out in the next 6 weeks or whatever, and we are fine for the playoffs. It may happen, but right now it's hard to be optimistic about kind of what their outlook is.
Yeah, because I mean It's not like they have a bunch of superstars. I mean, you got Jamal Murray, who's playing really well. But it's not like they have the big three, right? Where it's just, the talent will overdo it. They're a talented basketball team. Don't let me undersell it, but they're a collection of really good players. And for that, you got to have some cohesion, and the guys have to do their job. So for as much as I would put on Adelman, he doesn't shoot the basketball.
Also true.
He doesn't throw the ball out of bounds, and so I think that there's some concern about substitution patterns and late game stuff, but that was the same thing with Malone, right? I mean, go check the group chat. How many times people were upset about his, Malone's lack of desire to play a young player, or the rotation minutes, and why is DeAndre Jordan getting 12 minutes in this game period? All the things. So I think when you're not winning, people will panic because this isn't it's not a youth sport. It's like livelihoods depend on it. And so
they're professional.
It makes sense. Well, it is in fandom, again, is short for fanatical. And we live vicariously through players because we couldn't do what they do. So we'll be mindful about that a little bit. I'm worried. I'm much more worried about this team than anyone else at the Rockies, just because the body language still doesn't, they got to just start stacking some wins, get some easy layup teams in here or something, or guys got to start making shots.
I hate to tell you this, we had
yeah, I know. We did. That was how we got the record we got. But maybe the radar will come off the Nuggets a little bit, and you do the whole underdog thing. And when you have the best player in the world, you always got a shot. Always got a shot. But I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Let's keep it real.
Yep.
Let's keep it real. All right. Well, I know, based on some of the chat, that we need to talk about football. Before we do, go subscribe, comment for the algorithm.
It's all about the algorithm.
All about it. If you didn't know, AI stands for something other than Allen Iverson. So help us get other friends to watch and stuff. While you're thinking about that, remember that you're tired. You probably need to pick me up. And if you do, choose W. Use code OBN10 so you can get 10% off your order at the checkout. Remember that for Orange and Blue Network 10% off. Or Bonix. He's number 10. Great. Remember, all the good stuff and the bad stuff. And then, if you like sports, you are watching the right channel.
Yep.
From Monday to Friday, pregame, post-game breaking news stuff. Every day we got stuff for you. So do yourself a favor and go check us all out. And with that, we're going to transition back to sports, which I guess that was sports. All right. So I got to take a deep breath for this because it's just like there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on with nothing going on.
Yep.
I don't know if you know this, but free agency hasn't opened yet. Is it opened yet? No.
It is officially open.
2 o'clock, right? 2 o'clock. So like an hour ago.
Yep. Officially.
So things became official.
Yeah.
But my friends have been mad, big mad, if you will.
Yep.
That the Denver Broncos have still not one of at least 4 teams as of this morning. Maybe there's less now who have not signed an outside free agent or made a trade for an outside player. What's really going to stink is the Broncos did make a signing about 30 minutes ago. It again is still in a re-signing of Lucas Kroll. So essentially, the Broncos are literally running it back. And, I'm guessing there's not a lot of guaranteed money in this deal, Atkins deal, all that kind of stuff. But it's exactly the same.
Yep.
Good and bad news. The Broncos re-sign J.K. Dobbins, 2 years, up to $20 million, guarantee of $8 million, as well as bringing back Alex Singleton on a 2-year, $15 million and some change deal, and Justin Strnad on a 3-year, $18 million deal, while also releasing Dre Greenlaw with the post June 1. So they save actually about $8 million by having it scheduled out to June 1st instead of the 6th that they would have got if they just let him go at the start of the new year. And so already brought Palczewski back, announced that Ben Powers would be back. Lose JFM. We went and got 20 plus a year with the
Titans.
PJ Locke now.
Your Dallas Cowboys.
Going to your Dallas Cowboys, going to save them some but I know.
McLaughlin also wasn't tendered for what it's worth.
Wasn't tendered, yep. And so that's, I guess, good in terms of doing something. But I think everyone's feeling is, and we re-signed Sam Ellinger and Africa. Yep. So essentially, the band's back. I saw somewhere. I swear, I want to give credit. I don't know who did it, but it was like 95% of the offensive snaps and like 90 or 89, 90 something percent of the defensive snaps are all returning from the 14-3 team who was a broken ankle away and maybe even a dumb fumble away from playing in the Super Bowl. So you could say, the team is drafting, developing, and keeping their own, which is what we say that we want to do, but also not spending money on free agency. What say you, Chris? Do you, do you think that the Broncos' methodology, that their plan is flawed, or do you think at least kind of conceptually what they're doing is the right way to conduct business?
Well, I will say this: so having most of your pieces back from a 14-win team is certainly a positive. I don't know if anybody's spinning it differently. I don't believe that they're right. The problem is that the really, really good teams, the people that are competing for Super Bowls, are selectively aggressive in free agency. Saquon Barkley with the Eagles, DeMarcus Lawrence and Sam Darnold and Cooper Kupp last year for Seattle. Even New England signed Milton Williams and Stephon Diggs. Like, they were aggressive with these moves in order to benefit the team. The other frustrating thing for Broncos fans is the fact that, like, George Paton went to the combine and said, these are 3 areas that we need to kind of be selectively aggressive in, running back, tight end, linebacker, and they really haven't been aggressive enough in that area. There was I will say for unknown reasons, I don't know why Adam Troutman had to be signed before free agency, like even the legal tampering period started. I don't know why he was such a priority. Like, I get Alex Singleton, I get I like the Justin Sternard signing. I like J.K. Dobbins signing. But the problem is that, like, with a lot of these signings, you're still, like, you're running it back, but you still have these issues. And now that JFM has left and Locke has left, you may now have other issues that have arisen.
Yeah. I don't mind any of the signings. I don't mind Kroll. I don't mind Atkins. I think if Kroll didn't get hurt, Kroll was starting in front of Troutman for the first 3 games. He had more snaps than Troutman did. His signing. Mike Kliss just posted his salary is $1.15 million. Active roster bonuses, all of that stuff with a max of 133. I mean, for a 3rd or 4th tight end, it's peanuts. So I think for the most part, I think there's that. So,
although Troutman got decent money, and
Troutman, that's the one thing that I think it pays to know the coach, right? It's, I guess if you got a new play caller, it's good to have guys in the room, all the rooms that know the offense.
Mm-hmm.
There was some conversation about Evan Ingram really struggling with the offense, which you assume that, if a vet comes, that they pick it up quickly. And that's not fair. Sean Payton, especially Sean Payton's offenses have a lot of verbiage and personnel packages and all that stuff. It is one of the more complex systems to learn. And so it would make sense to keep some cohesion in there too, to maybe try and get the best out of Evan Ingram, who is still really good investment. The tricky part about his contract is if you cut him, you only save like $3 million.
Yeah, it's not
I think. And he's better than anyone you would get for $3 million. And I don't know what's a reasonable get on the market for him. A day 3 pick, and he's better than a day 3 pick you're going to get. So
especially since he had a down
year
last year. I don't know that that's
And so you hope maybe some of the you get some of the some of your offseason additions are better performances of Evan Ingram, full season of J.K. Dobbins, hopefully. But in the end, I like them. I do think what they're going to try and sell us is we're 14-3. I remember they started 1-2, and so they were 13-1 over the final 4 months of the season with a playoff win against Josh Allen. I think it's nothing to sneeze at. It's not like they're bringing back. It's not like the Rockies bringing back their roster. Where it just watch paint dry, and now we're gonna watch paint dryer. And so I'm okay with it. They have about 18 million and some change. I probably got to save about 7 or 8 million for your draft class. So you probably got like 2 moves to make, 3 maybe if you keep it kind of like mid-level free agency and you have guys that you front loaded with cash but low cap number. You could squeeze a few in. I did hear a little bit that maybe there actually is some interest between A.J. Brown and the Denver Broncos. Tepid interest, but it's been on the bubble for a while. Because I think what we agree with is like, let's think about this right now. What move could they make right now that would make them better with who's out there? And so let's maybe go from that angle and then we'll work our way backwards. Just some positions or players.
We're just talking about a free agency, right? We're not talking about.
Yeah, let's go free agency. Yep, okay. We'll say that are available. So free agents that they can get. who would actually make them better, because it was one of those where once Breece Hall was not available, no running back was on the market was better than J.K. Dobbins when healthy. Obviously, there's the elephant in the room of like, but he's not always healthy for sure.
Yeah.
Neither is Kenneth Walker. Tyler Algill got hurt last year. There's just, ETN is a good player, missed a year with the torn ACL. And so there's no one that goes unscathed. So
I will say
now about who
I
do you
will say
think
the difference between like Walker and ETN and J.K. Dobbins, unfortunately, has like a prolonged history of missing time, as opposed to
significant time, significant injuries too. Not even just like pulled hamstrings. Like my man's had he's I think he broke his leg his last year in high school.
Yep. Again, injuries
injured last year in college.
Yeah.
Just significant. So it is not nothing, and I wouldn't pretend. So I think the Broncos, they were going to get 2 running backs anyway. I think, or they better have. They better have.
Yeah.
And it was likely going to be a free agent running back and one in the draft, because you're not going to go pay 2 free agent running backs, just cost wise. So let me throw a couple names at you this time.
Sure.
Right. So because I think we agree on like the what's it called? The positions of need. So here's some players I think, because it's interesting that they brought back the band in that room. I would say that the tight end room is my most concerning room.
Yeah.
Because there's just Evan Ingram in name. So Evan Ingram, if you look at the production of that room, leaves you a lot wanting. Okay. I think they had the second most drops from the tight end position in the NFL. And Troutman only had one of those. So it goes to say a lot. And it's like Nate Atkins either dropped it or scored a touchdown. He's Adam Dunn of tight ends. So you have David Njoku, market value of about $10 million. Johnny Smith, okay, market value about 7. Dallas Goedert, about the same at 7. And then you have some interesting players. And I'm going to throw some of these out because I think, would you take David Njoku on this team? All things are equal.
I mean, yes, but then you're paying paying $17 million to your tight end room.
For sure. But just would that player upgrade the room?
Yes, that would upgrade the room.
Dallas Goedert, who I would love.
Probably.
I think that's the guy that's missing.
Yep.
Okay. And so, but there's some fun ones. Taysom Hill.
No, not for me.
No.
He's for Sean Payton. He's not for me.
Right. But think about it for Sean Payton.
I guess. I mean,
on a cheap deal, market value is about $2 million, maybe a little bit less. So I think that there's some guys that I think that can come in and contribute.
Make the Bronco fans mad. He's just going to make Bronco fans mad.
For sure. But there's guys I thought Tyler Conklin, his last 2 years in LA, I thought he is a better receiver than you give him credit for. It's because he played with the Jets for so damn long, and we know how bad the Jets are. But he's also 260. And he's a big dude.
Yeah,
who can compete in the run game, which, and that's a guy whose market value, at least on Spot Rack, is about $3 million.
Okay.
So I think that there's options there where we didn't win on first day of free agency, and the good reason is most teams that win on the first day of free agency don't go to the Super Bowl. Most good teams don't win on free agency.
I don't know how true that is. But
go look at it, right? Who spent all the money? Who got all the
sure.
Those teams usually have the furthest to go. What I like that you said is being selectively aggressive.
Yes.
Right. And so that's the part where they were in on some deals. I don't want to give Travis Etienne $13 million either to play running back.
That's the market. Yep.
That's the market. I would rather not. I would rather draft a guy in the second round, bring back J.K. Dobbins. You have a room of less than $13 million. But with the caveat is you still have to spend that money. And that's where I get into when you talk about then you're paying your room. I would rather have someone more impactful like Dallas Goedert to add on to that for the cost that I would have paid Travis Etienne. I would rather have J.K. Dobbins, Dallas Goedert, who, if we all understand, Evan Ingram is essentially on a 1-year deal. He's not going to be a part of this team next year outside. Even if he blows up, he has a great year. He's going to price himself out of here. He's not going to be back. And so with that, though, we come back around to what the other options are, because I did not like this tight end or this wide receiver class, free agent one, for what the Broncos needed. So I think you can still go get guys, but in the end, like, are they better than what you got? Christian Kirk? Deebo Samuel is Marvin Mims plus 50 pounds, right?
Nope.
Juwan Jennings, I think, is a good player, but he's going to make $22 million. If Spyroheck had anything to say about it?
And also, he's another hurt guy. He's another guy who is
right, which is interesting because it's like everyone that is a free agent is not wanted by the team that knows them the best. So for all of us to imagine, right? And so I think that there's just some things right now. There isn't a perfect match out there for them. Let's go back to the AJ Brown conversation, because I think that is probably one player that I feel is.
Did we solve anything with the free agency? I would take Tyler Conklin. I would take Dallas Goedert on like a 1-year, prove it deal, like $1 million, $4 or $5 million, whatever it is. Like, that makes sense to me. I don't know if I'm paying Njoku, Adam Troutman money, because you just paid him Adam Troutman money. So now you have a whole bunch of resources wrapped up in your tight end room. It just doesn't make sense.
It does not.
And I don't think there's any running back out there that's absolutely going to make this room way better than it is. And the same thing with the receivers. Like, I like Juwan Jennings a lot. He can't stay healthy. I don't think he's when healthy, I think he's a better option than, a Pat Bryant or a Troy Franklin, but he's never healthy. So what does that buy you? Not a lot. So
what are you spending it on? I couldn't agree more. And so, running back room, Rachaad White, Brian Robinson, AJ Dillon.
No, Chris Rodriguez is interesting because he's kind of a first and second down bruiser. So kind of like could fill that if J.K. Dobbins gets hurt, he could fill that J.K. Dobbins role and have R.J. Henry or Harvey, be that guy, the other guy in that room. I personally like Keaton Mitchell, who was recently released from the Ravens. I think he's got some juice. He'd be pretty cheap, but I think he's going to go have a reunion with John Harbaugh in New York. Yeah. So
I think so too. But the richest owners in the NFL just saying, if you wanted to make sure he came here, you could make sure he came here.
100%.
Just like that. All right. So the tight end conversation is great because that's where the most applicable talent is. The room wouldn't make sense for sure. With a rookie quarterback, though, you kind of don't need a room to make sense. You need good players, kind of, right? Like, that said, Adam Troutman at $6 million a year is still absurd. So we are where we are. Yeah. What move can they make? What move can they make that you feel would, one, make this fan base feel like they're doing their job over there, and that they also want to win a Super Bowl? So you're the GM. You got your GM hat on. Like I said, you have about $16 million to play with. We got drafts and stuff. 30th pick, ammunition, all those good things. What's a move or two that you think would satisfy the peanut gallery?
Yeah, I think it's you're looking at AJ Brown as the 1A, because that would be, hey, we're running back with a 14-win team and we added a premier receiver. So I think that shuts people up. Brian Thomas, which there's been conflicting reports. I think Adam Schefter in his new Truth Dojo, whatever that studio was, kind of shot down that Brian Thomas was available, and he may not be, but I would still at least poke around and say,
yeah. Conversations like that don't happen. Yeah, don't happen for no reason. So,
right.
I also like DK Metcalf ? If Aaron Rodgers doesn't go back, would that be someone that you would, for a third?
Just remember, he punched a fan. Like he.
Yeah, but name a time that you haven't wanted to punch a fan.
I hear you, but also like he wasn't good last year. He's got some off the field things. Maybe he is happy. Maybe he's worth the roll of the dice. But again, I'm looking at AJ Brown. I'm looking at Brian Thomas, and then
what about a name like Jordan Addison?
No.
What about Keon Coleman?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Just get your Florida State fandom out of here.
What about a reunitedness with Jerry Jeudy?
No, again, we've had the experience, so
100%. It really is like I think you could talk me into Brian Thomas Jr. because of the upside. He's just 24. He's a physical freak. Like he is built different than the receivers you have on the roster. It's like Pat Bryant with Troy Franklin's speed and stuff. He also is he tough enough mentally, to like you're on a really, really good team and you can't figure it out? That's some concern. So for me, at least I have seen AJ Brown do it at a high, like he still was over 1,000 yards last year.
100%.
With playing with right-handed Tim Tebow. Yep. And just kidding.
The other thing I will say about DK Metcalf is that he is very similar to what Courtland Sutton brings you as a skills wise. I mean, he's a bigger, faster receiver.
He has more. Yeah, I was gonna say he has more yak, but he is not a guy that's gonna win with precision.
Right.
And I don't know that he's a locker room guy. I don't know that he's not, but like you said, he punching a fan. When you're on a playoff team, a division winning, life's not that bad, man. You just signed a 3-year, $68 million, whatever it was. Like, stop.
Yeah.
And you're built like that, bro. Like, stop. Your world's all right. And you eat a bunch of Skittles. Like, your metabolism's still high. You just wait till you're our age. Wait till you're our age and eat like that.
Start looking like me. I mean, if I wouldn't be opposed to maybe trading DK Metcalf, but again, like he would be kind of a wait till after the draft and say, I'm going to trade a next year's pick. Yeah.
All right. So you led me into the second part of said conversation. All right.
Yep.
So right now, with none of the free agents sound like they're difference makers for the Broncos, correct?
Nope.
So would you sign anyone before the draft, knowing that it counts against your compensatory, which right now you are in line at least to get a fourth for JFM leaving?
Yep.
If you don't sign anyone of note.
John Franklin Myers, for those not familiar.
Yes. Yeah. Not James Martin or Jesus Mendoza. I got nothing else. Thank you. I'm going to miss you, but you know what? Go to the NFC South and dominate, smack Trevor Lawrence around. I actually really like that. Like, it's far away enough, and they're not going to be good enough for a bit to like. It's like Malik Jackson going to Jacksonville. Like they were good for a year, and then it was like, back. And so, why sign anyone before the draft? And then additionally, I want to give Henry Chisholm on DNVR Broncos this. He had a pretty good point of. There isn't a player right now worthy of like a first round pick. Maybe AJ Brown. Maybe you say AJ Brown, especially because it's the 30th pick.
Yep.
It's not a high value first. Maybe Brian Thomas because he's under team control. You could say you're banking on him being 2 years ago and not last year. Blah blah blah. But there are going to be better players available near the trade deadline. That won't count against your compensatory. That might be cheaper because teams are selling, right? Then, the Jets will find out they suck by October, and then Breece Hall will be available again. And you can secure that player or players like that. There will be starting running backs available because I think that's where the Broncos failed this last year, was not making a move at the trade deadline, knowing what they had and what they didn't have, knowing that RJ Harvey was not ready to take. They didn't have a running back to step in for JK if and when he got hurt, which data suggested he was going to be hurt at some point.
Yep.
I think not having a team that was that good and not fortifying it with some depth at a position like that was the fatal error. Like, you weren't going to go get another backup for Bo Nix. I think Jared Stidham was fine enough. If that snowstorm doesn't come in, it's probably different. They probably win. Blah, blah, blah. But J.K. Dobbins' data, like, the reason why he only got $8 million guaranteed on this deal was because he gets hurt. And I think they have to go in and understand that. And so I wouldn't even be mad if they don't make a big swing this offseason, period. Understanding that, they still have kept pace in the AFC West. I don't think anyone has really closed ground necessarily with their moves to where you're at danger of getting lapped or anything. I think you'll still be in contention for the AFC West. And if you win your division, you're more likely to have an opportunity to win the Super Bowl than if you don't. So I think it puts them in the position similar to where they were this year going into playoffs. Then the big key is, like, they got to be selectively aggressive, you said, on those positions, right? So one, they're going to draft a running back in day 2, I would assume. Maybe even day 1 if they have that pick. But, recognizing what you got and what your window is and not letting that window go by. So I actually like that strategy a little bit better. Sure, go get a 1-year prove-it deal for someone. A vet that gets cut. I wouldn't even mind a guy like DeAndre Hopkins coming in at like a vet min deal, and a guy that that if they land up on third down, they can get open, catch a rock, like someone that can come serve a purpose. So you can't get a 1A receiver outside of probably AJ Brown that we would feel really, really good about, or even like pretty good about. I don't know that I feel really good about him either. So with that, what are your thoughts about that strategy? Is it one that you, looking at the roster that you got, knowing that you are retaining 95% of your snaps from AFC championship contender from last year, is that enough to feel like, anything that we bring in now is just gravy kind of thing? Or in that selective aggression being utilized more towards the trade deadline? Or do you think that's a faulty way to look at it and they missed the window?
So you had me in the first half, you lost me in the second. So the first half other than signing like a depth piece right now, let's just like kind of skip free agency because we don't believe there's an actual difference maker out there. Perfectly fine. Completely understand. You go to the draft and you draft, and I'm completely okay with that. You say, okay, at 30, we're going to keep our 30th pick. We'll pick, whoever's there, best player available, that kind of thing, and fill some of the holes that you didn't address in free agency.
Mm-hmm.
You lost me with we wait till the trade deadline. The trade deadline has moved, for those unaware, from it was early October to late October now. And that is, to me, that is way too late. That is way too late to be
it's pretty significant. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is way too late to say, we still don't have an offensive playmaker. We need to go get one. No. Sure. If you cannot afford to waste 2 months and then pretend that let's say AJ Brown, let's say for argument's sake, Brian Thomas is available at the deadline and not now. Do you honestly think that a wide receiver is going to come in and be able to learn a fairly complex offense in the last 2 months in order to make a difference? And I would say no. He will need those, mini camp reps. He will need that training camp reps. I think he needs that. I think the people that will need that. So,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I am okay letting free agency go and then drafting and then but for me, this is like a George Pickens situation where it's I'm going to circle back early May and say, hey, Jacksonville, are with your draft haul, and now we have known information. Where are you at? Hey, Eagles, now that you've drafted, you now have known information. Where are you at with AJ Brown? And I will say it, I'm okay paying a first-round pick for AJ Brown. I am swinging my swing. So
okay. See, I agree in waiting, waiting, and unless you're 8-1 or 9, whatever it is, you are 2-game lead. I think waiting till the end of October to make a move, especially on offense, where I think at running back, you might be able to get a little bit away with it if you are an elite runner. Maybe if you're an elite runner, not at tight end, which I think is probably the second hardest position on offense to know, maybe because you have to know all the pass pro, you have to know all the run blocking, you got to be able to run the routes. That's a lot. A receiver, can a receiver come in? Yeah, I think. I think they can. I think if you are a 1A receiver, being like, all right, we're gonna run blah 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 blah. AJ, run 12
we're gonna fade
and dig in, and I'm gonna throw it to your face.
Yep.
But even that, because even if it's AJ Brown, it's not necessarily even that AJ Brown's gonna get all the targets. It's that now you have more. You have a guy that they have to focus on. So now you got Pat Bryant on their fifth or their safety or whatever. And that in the end is like what they don't really have. Cortland Sutton is a really good guy, a really good player. Do you need to double team Cortland Sutton?
No.
Probably not. And so that to me is some of it is there's just not someone that strikes some fear. I'm going to ask you a question I don't like the potential answers to. Okay. Feel free to use your current, the way you currently look at the world and or Broncos. Okay. Sure. AJ Brown strikeout. Okay. There is no real option out there. However, two players who are current free agents have their legal stuff behind them and are physically on track, and they're available, and they're willing to give you a discount.
Okay.
Both players are willing to sign a 1-year, $10 million fully guaranteed deal. That's it. Come in. Those two players are Stephon Diggs and or Tyreek Hill. Understanding or believing that all of their personal crap is in line. They're not going to miss any time. No further adjudication potential for these particular things, which I think Tyreek doesn't have anymore. I think Stephon does, right? I think Tyreek is just hurt. A history of, though. But say like we take away all that stuff, it all gets cleared. Stephon mans up, pays the cook or the chef, and says sorry for being an absolute a-hole, which isn't enough, but we're doing a hypothetical conversation here. Oh, trust me, I don't like him as a human. Wouldn't do it. Oh, thanks. But what do you do? I mean, would you or either of those guys, assuming that Tyreek Hill at least is on track to be healthy, the healthy version of where he's at now, not 26-year-old Tyreek who was right, but I would even say probably like 80% of Tyreek's speed is still probably pretty fast. Yeah. You're getting Stephon Diggs from last year. He was a pretty productive player, only playing like 60% of the snaps, I think. Are those moves that you would make, considering if everything else is status quo, knowing that they're both on 1-year deals, but both are probably turds that would come into your locker room? That is a really, I think, strong space and test those waters, but really a significant playing upgrade if you can get them.
Yeah, I will say this. So Stephon Diggs, I think, is, by all accounts, he's been a good teammate. He's just a crappy person, and that's fine. Like Michael Irvin was kind of
interesting.
Yeah, Michael Irvin was kind of the same way.
I mean, it makes sense.
A really good teammate, not a great person.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers, at least, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, from what we see of Aaron Rodgers on the team, people like him.
So Stephon Diggs is a yes for me. Although he wasn't I think he's productive. I don't know how productive he would be. Again, he's going to be like 33, 34 when the season starts. So, there's a little bit of risk there. But yeah, I mean, again, for me, it's swing your swing. So if he's the best that's available out there and he's going to be an upgrade over what Pat Bryant is and what Troy Franklin is, we think, then yes, that is yes. Tyreek Hill is such a complete mystery to me because he wasn't playing very well before he got hurt last year, but I guess he wasn't playing well. He wasn't playing well before last year, or even before he got hurt, and now he's still not healthy. Like he's not going to be healthy for another, almost.
Yeah, I mean his injury was pretty.
7 months. Bad. Like it's You're going to get him. The hopeful part for him is you're going to get him mid-season, and to me that is not worth it. Like I need a guy who can come in and develop some chemistry. So I'm a no on Tyreek Hill, but a yes on Stephon Diggs.
Okay,
so
it's interesting. it's interesting because I think most fans, with the fact that the Broncos haven't done anything outside of the building, I think most fans, especially ones that are upset that we haven't made a move yet in Denver, would be okay with it. I think most of the people that are okay that they haven't made a move wouldn't want it. I think it kind of like goes to there, but I think a football sense, I actually agree. I agree with you. I think Stephon Diggs, football wise, I actually think would be a really good addition. I think, is the much more efficient player.
Mm-hmm.
He produced, I think, similar numbers to Courtland Sutton, but playing like 20 snaps a game less than Court. And so I don't think that he necessarily would ruin the development of your younger guys either. And so, and I think he gives you what you don't need. You don't have a guy that's like a real technician.
Yep.
I think Pat Bryant is a good route runner, but his second season. So to think that he is an elite separator, things like that, he's not. And I think Stephon Diggs is. And by the accounts like you've said, and I've heard him being a good teammate, I think that there's learning to be had. Courtland Sutton is, I think, a really good mentor, and I think would keep the room strong. And I think, but Stephon Diggs has had unparalleled success, much more success than anyone on this roster. And I think he's the guy closest to being the older version of himself than Tyreek is.
Yep.
Because again, 80% of what made him special is just pretty good. And he's built more like a running back than he is a go get it over your dome receiver. And so 100%. Remember, anytime you go get a free agent, they're a free agent for a reason.
100%.
Free agent because of injuries, market, position. You know, sometimes running backs become free agents because that position can get filled by guys that make less than them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the Broncos just have to take more swings at running back, in my opinion, in the draft. You know, not waiting till the 5th round for Audric Estime. You know, being more aggressive with that and getting guys that they would have, which they would have gotten Travion Henderson in round 2 if he would have slipped a little bit. So it wasn't that they didn't want players that are good. They just didn't have the foresight to make those things happen. Let's see. Would I have Debo? What do you think about Debo?
Nope.
If Debo came in 1 year, $6 million.
Nope.
Yeah, me neither.
I kind of want to give though, if I'm going to sign a Debo Samuels who was not very productive last year, I want to give those reps to Troy Franklin and Pat Bryant.
Marvin Mims. I want to give his reps to Marvin Mims. I mean, that's how you kind of use him as your screen gadgetish guy, and I think he's elite speed and all that stuff. Debo, would I, you know, if they brought him in, would I be mad about it? I wouldn't be mad because I think he's a good player, and I hope Sean Payton would figure it out. I would be mad if his snaps ate into because there's no upside with Debo. Debo is not going to get better. And so again, like we've talked about, there's just not moves that they can make where there's a significant upgrade. And that's why I think I'm okay with them being patient, because I think that they could be selectively aggressive in, you know, getting a third safety. I think PJ Locke is a good player. Do I think that there are better options as a third safety? Yeah,
sure.
I do. You know, especially if you're looking at 1-year deals, my man, CJ Chauncey Gardner, who played for Super Bowls like every year because he can only be on a team for a season.
Right.
You know, as a third, he brings tenacity and grit and some of that stuff. Not that I would say, but I think there are guys that could fill that role that you can go get right now that would be contributors, because going to get a guy off the free agent market at receiver just to get one, I think is not great. Big E says, before we bounce, he says, what if I told you there'd be a running back in the 7th and 6th or 7th round? If it wasn't for his injuries, he probably would have been. I guarantee, that's what people spin it on. It's like, man, he probably would have been a day 1 or early 4th round pick if it weren't for, and then we'll list the things. Sometimes the industry just misses. My man, Kyle Manangai, who I really liked. I actually mocked him to the Broncos a lot when we did this kind of stuff. I mean, he's flawed. So he's like 5'9", ran like a 4.6 or something. I mean, there was just there's always a knock. And so, again, it's going to be fit. So player skill set, fit. Those two things have to match, right? What kind of scheme? How are they going to get used? Because there's been really, really good players with tremendous talent that go to the wrong system and get ruined. Sam Darnold like or any jet, really. So with that though, let me just say, so we got to go. We ran a little bit over. JT needs to fix stuff. He's an absolute mess of a human being. We may or may not be live next week. Chris might do a solo show. We also might pre-record. So we'll kind of reach out for some questions, comments, all of that good stuff. Just a programming note.
Just as a thought, we could do a mock draft too.
Okay, actually.
I like that.
All right, we're probably gonna do that.
Okay.
Probably gonna do that too. What's more likely? Okay. The Avs, right, winning the Stanley Cup, or the Nuggets and or the Broncos. So one of the two happens. So you could bet same amount of money. You get 2 shots at the Super Bowl or Blair O'Brien Trophy. Same amount of money, just 1 shot for the Avalanche. So if either of these 2 teams win, versus this team wins. Which one's more likely?
I mean, I'm in for the Avs. Okay. I think they're just built for it. So
yep. And then last thing on our route, did the Nuggets get it fixed by the next time that we talk?
No.
Okay. That's fair. All right. For our lovely JT, I am Doc, aka Nicholas Manning. Find me on Twitter again at @dr_nmanning. And Chris, I'm always right. At MHSS_wit. So glad that you're on the team, my man. Appreciate you being here. And love you guys. Be nice and all that good stuff. If you script, send me a
from football to hockey, we're taking it higher. Join the celebration, feel that sports desire. So grab your crew, let's hit the show. My high sports symposium, let the good times flow.